No effort, no discipline. Is John Harbaugh the problem here? Has John Harbaugh lost the Baltimore Ravens? Has he lost the locker room? Based on the 44-10 defeat, belt to ass whipping by the Houston Texans to the Baltimore Ravens, one can surmise, with using his two eyes and his third eye and being an energetic reader, you can feel the energy off with the Baltimore Ravens. You can feel it. You can sense it. The play on the field is just icing on the cake. What you see on the field is icing on the cake, but you can feel tension between Harbaugh, Monken, Harbaugh and the players. Something's not resonating. The players are not responding to the coach here. And we're gonna dive into that on the Double R Reacts. Let's listen to John Harbaugh in the post-game presser.
All right, obviously got beaten every way you can get beat. Very disappointed with that. Did not expect to see that. Thought we'd play a lot better than that based on the way we practiced. And hats off to them. They played a really good game, made a bunch of plays, did a great job on first down. We did not. Built a rhythm really throughout the game. We did not. So just a complete disappointment. And we're going to have to find a way to turn it around, figure out who we are this next week, and then into the bye and after the bye. We're going to have more than half the season left, and we're going to have to find ourselves. So that's what our aim will be going forward. What questions you have?
John, when you're looking at the game, obviously, like you said, it's a disappointment. How much do you also kind of consider the guys you didn't have here, and the guys what the guys did out there on the field?
Yeah, I mean, you have to just look at the tape. I don't think we played well. I thought we would play better. I thought we would tackle better. I thought we would just play our run defense better than we did. It was not up to standard. I mean, we had good enough players out there to play a lot better than we did. It's just disappointing.
John, you mentioned you thought you practiced well this week. When you don't see that reflected in the performance, what do you do as a coaching staff then when it's not aligning with practice to the game?
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at everything. I think
That's
it starts with us as coaches. We've got to figure out how to put the guys in best positions, to make plays and do things right. There was a lot of things out there that weren't done correctly, so we've got to ask.
And who is that on? Whose fault is that on? This is what I'm talking about. Like you've been the head coach for 18 years. Whose fault is that? We got to figure out a way, bro. That's what training camp for. That's what preseason for, is to figure out a way to get the best out of your players. When I'm seeing undisciplined calls, the flags, the lack of effort, that's a coaching issue, John Harbaugh. That is a huge coaching issue, because it's one thing to not be good enough. It's one thing to not be as talented. Obviously, you got backups out there in most areas, but the effort should be there. And that's one thing that I always am going to harp on, is how are the players playing for the coach? I see, like he said, missed tackles. You're talking about practice not aligning with the games. If practice is not aligned with the games, there's something deeper going on. As I mentioned earlier, it's something energetic.
So how does that not translate to the game, number one? And then what else can we do? What else can we come up with to figure out ways to challenge people and gain some yards and get some stops?
John, did you feel there was a lack of effort or belief or buy-in, or however you would want to put it?
I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that all week. I didn't feel that.
Really? I mean, based on watching the game, you can see there was a lack of effort. You can see it. You can feel it.
In the game, I think the effort was there. I just didn't think the execution was there.
I don't agree with that.
We didn't.
I don't think that was the case at all. I don't think the effort was there at all. And the crazy thing about it is he has a bird's eye view of this. He's got it front and center. You can see your team. Like, I can see from the TV screen that there was no effort, or there was a lack of effort, specifically to what we have been accustomed to knowing with the Ravens under John Harbaugh. Effort is usually never an issue. Discipline, yes, but effort, usually not.
Do what we needed to do, and it's going to have to start with us as coaches and figure it out.
When you consider where you are record-wise, and also the long list of injuries and guys you need to get back, is this one of the more challenging times you can remember in your career?
Yeah, we've had a lot of them. I think back to a lot of challenging times. I think every year had challenges, and if you look back at some of those seasons, there were stretches. None more challenging than this right now. This is the one we're in, and this is tough. But like I told the guys, this becomes a measuring stick, for all of us. So what ends up happening is when you go through situations like this, and everybody does in their life, and every team does in their their career, players and coaches and everybody else. It's how you handle it, And when people look back and say, hey, when things were the toughest, when things looked the worst, when we were at our lowest point, how did you handle it? How will you be remembered for how you handle it? And I'm looking for if people to come out fighting and give their best, in those kind of situations. That's what you have to do. When you do that, you come out the other end.
We have with a lengthy list of injuries. We know that, and some you don't know who will be back and when. But what do you see as maybe the most fixable, the most quickly fixable things here?
I think fundamental football is the most quickly fixable thing. And I expect to see us play fundamentally sound football. I don't think we did that all the time today. It wasn't egregiously bad, but I mean, this run defense is it's not okay.
It's not egregiously bad. They put up 44 points on y'all, all on the offensive side of the ball. There was no defensive touchdowns in this game for the Texans. This is all offense putting up points on your defense. I don't think they don't get more egregious than that.
And that's not something that should happen. So we haven't fixed that really all year yet. That's the number one thing that's we got to start. You can't be letting them get the yards they're getting on first down.
You
can't play behind the sticks the whole game on both sides of the ball. And that's been pretty much a theme throughout the course of the whole season so far.
John, do you have to consider changes on with Zach or the defensive staff?
Yeah, you try to do the most productive things, and I do not think that that's the answer. So
yeah, and so this is back-to-back weeks that he's back Zach Orr. And it makes you beg the question, John Harbaugh, you hired Zach Orr, this is your guy, you know what I'm saying? It looks bad if you got to fire him a year after you brought him in. This is year 2, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, of course we expect you to say that. That's your guy. And it's going to make you look bad. It's going to put that blemish on your resume because you don't hire him. But let's be real here. Facts are facts. The Ravens are the worst defense on pace to give the most points in the history of the league. They've given up 40 points twice this year. Almost 40 another 2 times. 41 to Buffalo, 38 to Lions, 37 to KC, and now 44 to Houston. It's ridiculous, bro.
We got to go to work is what we need to do. We need to stick together is what we need to do. And we need to find ourselves, and that has to do with coaches and players together.
John, you talked last week about offensive play calling. How did you feel you guys adjusted this week?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the play calling wasn't really an issue. We tried to do
they barely had the ball, bro. They barely had the ball. I mean, they ran 40 plays in this entire game. They had 19 at halftime. Not really much to judge on. I mean, there was a couple of plays I remember. It was a third down screen pass after 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐡 Mitchell had that little nice 8-9 yard pickup, and then they threw a screenplay on 3rd and 4 or something like that. It was crazy. The play action play, they got intercepted. They threw a play action when there was no running game ever established. There was a few little things in there that was bad. I don't know what he's talking about.
We're in the game plan, and we never really generated a rhythm. We had the turnover early when we had a little bit of a drive going there. Petrie made a nice play on that flat route. That low interception hurt us. So I didn't think that was really the issue.
John, to that, obviously, Lamar is an uphill battle offensively, but just how disappointing was it to not really be able to get the run game going at all?
Yeah, it was. It was disappointing, and I give them credit for.
All right, we can pause. We can end the deal here. Ravens got a big problem here. Like I said, it's energetic. There's a big problem in the locker room. It's very uncharacteristic of a Ravens team to play like this under John Harbaugh. Let's just call a spade here. It's energetic. The energy has been off since the Justin Tucker stuff. With the accusation, not convicted of anything, but ever since that, Justin Tucker missed field goals last year. The Justin Tucker situation when they found out the Lamar contract not getting an extension yet, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna have a $72 million cap hit, no reconstruction. The offensive line is not good. There's something energetically going on here. All the injuries out of nowhere. What is going on with Baltimore franchise? What's going on with the Ravens here? I'm thinking it's Harbaugh because I'm watching how the players perform for this guy. They're playing like no effort as if they want him gone. That's what the energy is telling me. I want to know some inside information as to what's going on, because that's what I feel and that's what I see. But I want to match the facts of what I feel and see to really like, okay, here we go. But I think it's Harbaugh. Let me know what you guys think. This is Double R Reacts. We out.